Ju, do you know what is home cafes?
You're listening to
Jom Sembang, Malaysia.
Home Cafes. Home Cafe, no, was it? What is this?
So this is a very popular trend now in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically people, right, turning their homes into cafes. For example, like most Singaporeans stay in a HDB, right?
Okay.
So then they open their living room and their kitchen or whatever room they want to open, like a cafe, and people come to their house, sit down, read a menu, order their food, order their drinks, eat,
In the
drink.
HDB?
Yeah, in people's house. In a stranger's house in a way.
Okay.
And then that's the home cafe business lah. Okay,
Can
so it's now a growing trend in Singapore.
Isn't that like illegal or something? Don't you
That's
need
what-
like a permit to open a... But people pay for the food or what?
They pay for the food lah. It's a cafe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also asked the same question as you. I said, is it like legal? Is it like, how does it work? If it's so simple, then everybody will be doing it. Where's the hygiene standard? Where's the certification lah?
Okay.
That I won't die eating your food lah, or
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so many factors involved. But according to like some of my friends there, they said Singapore has already established a rule or a law that you can be a home cafe, and these are the process where you can actually apply this. If you get it, application successful, then you can open your house to like a home cafe lah.
Interesting. So what? You get people coming to check your house for, I don't know, like cleanliness and all that?
I don't know about the law part of things lah.
Okay,
Because
okay,
the law
okay.
part of things a lot of people don't share.
Okay.
But what I mean, home cafe has been very popular is because a lot of people are doing it during the weekend for fun.
Okay.
Okay,
weekend
then-
only, okay?
Okay, some of them doing it every day.
Power.
So depending on like they think that they can do it. So I watch a lot of people's vlogs and stuff like that. So this is where I discover all this thing like, hey, how come got so many people are doing this kind of business, home cafe business? And they all started off with, for example, they have a coffee machine. They like to make latte, but there's only that much latte they can drink.
Okay.
So they start to like post it to all their neighbors. Like, hey, you want to go buy latte, right? Don't need to go anywhere. Within the same block, I'm level 7 or
makes
whatever.
sense, Better
Ding-
ROI.
Yeah, just text me the order, then ding dong, I'll pass you the drink, you just pass me the money, and that's it.
Okay.
That's not even like going to the house. That's more like ding dong lah. You just take your coffee and go off lah.
Right.
Which I think totally work for me lah. If I have one somewhere in my building, right?
Okay.
So if I need latte, I don't have to order delivery if
That's
I'm
like-
working from home.
That's like last time they call it nasi ketuk nasi kadok in Brunei one. Apparently it started like that, right? In a house,
Okay.
a flat or something, a house, people just go and ketuk on the window and they
Okay.
want some nasi bungkus lah. But and then the auntie will just make and prepare and give to you.
Some
So
sort
that was
like
like
that
some
lah.
time ago. So cool.
Yeah, so I can see how this trend was very popular, especially with the younger generation, like 30s and below, right? They like all these, like they appreciate their coffee, they
Yeah.
want better coffee, and then they want convenience,
Yeah.
they want cheap, and then they want to support a local
Local.
cause and all that. It totally fits that
Correct.
bill lah.
And if you're working from home,
Yeah.
you don't have to go and press, delivery or whatever. Just walk downstairs, you get a short, stretch workout from your office or whatever in your house. Come downstairs, pick it up, go back up.
Correct.
Okay,
So
what?
like some of them even like, for example, if you don't want to go pick it up, you just pay extra ringgit. The person who made the coffee will send it down to your unit.
Nice.
That kind of stuff. Very how to say community driven.
I like.
Yeah. So it has been like quite a trend. So there's that kind of people who just ding dong at the doorbell, take your stuff, right? And there's the people who's like I said earlier, open their living room
Wow, that one.
or their kitchen.
That one next level.
And then people just sit down, and that means they can only cater to like maybe 8 or 10 customers, not more lah, because it's a house, right?
Yeah.
So some of them just you just lep out and then sit down and then drink, chit chat. So they also enjoy chatting with their neighbors lah. And their neighbors come, right? So they make friends, they get to know their neighbor, they sit down and chit chat. Or some of them take it quite seriously. I see they buy tables and chairs. Then they place it like a bit like a cafe, like maybe, I want to sit 20 people like that or something like that.
Actually, I'm curious, right? Do you think this might have started during their circuit breaker, which is their MCO lah? Because, imagine you cannot have more than a certain number of people together, but you also cannot go further than a certain radius, right? So, if it's just, okay, I can stay in my block. Okay, I go downstairs,
correct.
somebody open cafe. I wonder, but when did this start? Do you know?
I think the last 2 years has been starting.
Okay.
But more so from like people who just wanted to bake stuff or make coffee.
Yeah.
but they cannot finish on their own.
Yeah, yeah.
So they just wanted people to finish it. Or they invite their friends. A lot of them I see they started with inviting their friends over. They say, okay, let's have a cafe latte party. Let's have a cafe in my house.
Yeah.
We don't want to hang out in expensive cafes. So you all come and then chip in, or they chip in coffee or they bring chips or whatever not.
Yeah,
but from
like-
there, right? But every weekend it's like friend. After that, friend got other things to do, right? So those who wanted to continue this so-called network connection or whatever is it, started to invite neighbors. A lot of them started with neighbors.
Okay.
They will send it to their neighbor group and say, hey, my house now sell coffee, or if you want, you can buy bread. And so there's a menu for them like tarts or whatever bakery stuff. And then eventually the word spread out. Then people not from the neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Also come.
Because let's say your pastry really nice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then you
yeah.
go tell another friend who stay at the other end of
Correct.
Singapore, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then those friends comes. But for me, when I first saw it, I said, would you go to a stranger's house to makan-makan? Like, you still pay money lah, but it's still like, for example, I think maybe in Malaysia, it's a little bit easier to envision because we have a lot of bungalows turning to restaurants. So you
Yes,
like,
yes,
yeah,
correct,
right?
correct. Yeah.
But then if you imagine, if I say that, the restaurant is in block 3, level 5, like
Yeah.
Pinggong already. For me, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
why I go people's house, like people condo upstairs or whatever, to have the meals lah.
Correct. So at first when you said home cafe, right, my first picture was, okay lah, maybe those bungalow. They live upstairs, downstairs, they open for,
Yeah.
cafe. Almost like, shop lot lah, right? People stay upstairs, but except it's a bungalow.
Correct. So it like quite shop looking lah. For me,
Yeah.
bungalows or landed property,
Correct,
still
but-
acceptable.
Yeah, but if you're talking about HDB, number one, people are already short of space. They say the HDBs in Singapore are
Like just
small,
enough,
especially the
correct.
newer ones are just enough for you to have. You want to have baby also, it depends on how big your place is, So
Correct,
if
correct.
you can open, okay lah, I suppose the living room, they all do ID nice what nowadays. So okay lah. But I like that it fosters a sense of community lah.
In a way lah.
Especially if everybody, majority of the people live around there. It's nice to more than just say hello at the lift, when you share the lift.
We don't even
coming
say
down
hello
the
at the
stairs.
lift lah.
I don't know, when I stay at my uncle's house in Singapore, they know who is on the, this one upstairs one, this one downstairs one. Oh, I see this one always come with the elderly auntie. So they do have that sense of knowing who is on that floor. Maybe it's just my uncle's family takes a bit more notice, I don't know. But if it was like that, I can quite imagine them going to one of the places one day and try.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because in Singapore so far, when I visit my relative, I find that when we take leave, we rarely bump into other people.
Ah, okay.
Or if we do, right, it's like you say, this one stay upstairs, this one, we don't like talk. Yeah. So you won't know that this person stay alone or whatever,
Right.
that kind of things, Yeah, so far quite rare lah. I think the idea of bringing out this topic about home cafe, my main question that I want to bring up is how comfortable or open you are to opening your house for a stranger to just walk in. Not just friends, just strangers, So maybe we talk about this after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Joy Luck Penang. This place is in Tanjung Bunga, which might be a little bit far for those of you in Georgetown, but it's the only place I can think of where you can just order a drink and have your event. So you want to do trainings, you want to do capacity building events, you can actually do it there, a community space. So look up Joy Luck Penang.
So right, Ju, I already painted the picture for you, right? Of where the background or what inspired today's episode, right?
Yeah.
So, would you be open to having, okay, let's start with having friends in your house?
Having friends in my house, yes and no. So prior to this, yes. Me personally, yes. I cannot speak for my mother.
Okay.
So we used to actually be very social because we live next to the church and then people will pop in.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Your
Correct.
mom would have gotten used to it while you're growing
so
up.
I don't know whether it's like, when you've had too much of a certain thing and then you reach a point that's like, okay, enough already. I really don't need to entertain anybody in my house anymore. It could be that. I don't know. Maybe it's just age. It feels like my mom is also nyonya, so you know how they want the house to be spick and span before anybody can come in, right? So in that sense, it's like if people are going to come in, it's going to be work. So I have kind of inherited that Sometimes even if people do delivery sending a new piece of furniture, I feel like I better sweep the floor first because what will they think of me if my floor is
Then,
dirty, you know?
You should pray for more people to come. Then your house will always be clean because you
I
keep
know,
cleaning it.
right? So, yeah, but making the time to do that is another thing lah. So, okay lah, I'm improving. So now that I am more in charge of the house cleanliness, I haven't reached that stage of feeling totally secure if people actually come into my house yet. So that's one. Secondly,
But it's more to do with cleanliness than what's in the house.
I think so. Yeah, more that. But the second thing is, I think I have now cultivated a desire to have my own space, be my own space, rather than, like, don't come into my space kind of feeling. Because I don't know whether I mentioned on this podcast before, but I used to teach vocals in my house. Like shortly before COVID, like 1-2 years, I kind of converted one room. I felt that was a better place to have class rather than in the living room because it's so wide, right?
Okay.
And then after COVID, right, I just felt like, no, the place is too small. So it was totally fine. I was very happy with the room before that. It was like, yes, now I have a space for that 2 years, right?
Okay.
And then after that, it's like, I don't want people to come in. I don't want, or the room is too small. It's like somehow my brain is just telling me, nah, not really. And then now, I began to think, I think it's because my corridor is not clean. So, okay, Juwita overthinks, right? But there's so many things that I factor in that I think, people come in my corridor because neighbors are not entirely keeping it clean nowadays. Not as bad as you might picture it, but I don't like it lah. So then I think, people coming to my house and then they pass here and then they see what they think, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm like, okay, just don't come better lah. So that's my house. And I don't know, I haven't even started talking about strangers coming into my house yet, right? So it might be more like, okay lah, if I had a coffee machine, the most maybe I might invite friends. Or friends.
Okay.
If it was total strangers, maybe just come and pick it up at the door. Don't come in lah. That would be me lah. What about you?
I think I grew up on a landed property. Landed property lah. Okay. So and we used to open our house for barbecues.
Wow. To whom?
Family friends.
Okay.
Family friends.
Family friends means?
Either
Close?
family, friends, not necessarily close.
Okay.
Not necessarily close as in like, for example lah, if I know you back then, it'll be like, okay lah, wait, don't call your friend Juwita, okay, just call.
Okay.
So it's like, as long as you, like one of the family members, you can come.
Yeah, okay, alright.
And then sometime that friend bring another friend. Because they come, right, a bit boring already, like 4 times or so.
Okay.
Come, you face, then she bring another friend.
Friend also can lah.
Yeah. So it's like very open. But back then we have a little bit of a garden space.
Nice.
Then you can really sit outside under the trees, under the moon and all those things and just have your barbecue and everything.
Yeah.
And my family is very big on food. So it's like, okay, we will just ample fish and seafood and whatever, just barbecue yourself, then watch living room. Like there's no up to today actually during like festive or whatever, right? At my uncle's house, there's no specific come here and tailor and make you like king and queen one. You come in, it's like this is make yourself at home, eat, and then we just talk whatever, like, and then you can talk to another friend. You don't want to talk to another friend, you go
okay.
Talk to someone else's
That's
friend.
nice.
Our friend talk to our friend and don't talk to us, that kind of things. So we have been, I grew up with that kind of environment.
Nice.
And then when we moved to condos,
Yeah.
it's totally different story. Because condos are so much smaller.
Yes.
So, and I probably wouldn't want to talk about how my parents' house is.
Okay.
But let's talk about my own house, right? I really like having friends over.
Okay.
So even when I was in Penang, I rented a unit, right? And then I have one housemate.
Yeah.
We are very open to like having friends
people
over,
over.
in the sense that our friends can just call. I say, are you at home? Yes. Ding dong. They just come.
Yeah.
And go sit at your couch, watch TV. You know,
Yeah.
we are totally like fine with that.
It's like a community feeling kind of house. It's not like totally private.
Yeah, but that in a good sense is when I was there, my housemate is also quite open. She's not the like, the house must be clean when people come.
Okay.
That kind of thing. We are more of like, it's decent can already lah.
Okay.
Decent lah, not dirty lah, decent lah, you know.
Sure.
Then we don't like particulars like every day must keep the house clean because anytime someone will ding dong, no. You know,
Okay.
it's just decent lah.
Yeah.
You know, if it happens to be dirty, then we just tell our friend, okay, just now we barbecue, that's why it's so dirty or something like that. So we are quite open. So I really like that
Fair
concept.
enough.
But when I moved to my current place,
Yeah.
because it's rental,
Yeah.
and I always treat it as temporary.
Okay.
So it's not really meant for people to come. It's because it's temporary means all my things are on the floor and stuff like that. So it's very
Right.
like not convenient
Not
in the sense
conducive.
that, yeah. Even if you come like, oh, now like that is where I come. I really have to clean up and hide things that I have no place to hide.
Right.
If
It's
I
not
have
like,
a wardrobe and then I sew
yeah.
anything in close, that is fine. But if I
Yeah.
really have the wardrobe, chances are I wouldn't have this problem.
correct.
Yeah, so I only have the problem is because I have nothing stacking upwards. Everything is on the floor because there's no shelf, there's no cupboard, there's no.
Right.
And until today, I still haven't buy because I always think that I'll move out soon.
Yeah.
You know, after 12 years, I'm still there, but
But
I
you can still
haven't.
move your furniture. What? It's like small thing can lah.
No,
Shelf
I don't
can
even
move.
have. I don't even have furnitures.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying shelf can move lah. It's not like.
But you
Yeah,
see,
but it might be anytime you move then that
no,
feeling.
even if you buy a portable shelf,
Yeah.
portable shelves don't go up because it's portable. Anything that go up is normally like a little bit more built-in, more permanent, more heavy.
True.
So like those are things that when you move, you wouldn't want to
Yeah.
move that kind of thing lah.
Betul.
So if like talking about like 3 shelves, plastic shelves or something that you put books, I have.
Yeah.
You know, but there's just like not enough to cover the things that I have lah. Like equipments or all those definitely need some work.
Yeah.
So normally no friends come. But when I first moved in, 1 or 2 friends guests. There's enough space for 2 friends to sit. And friends who don't really care whether like there's a proper living room or not.
Okay.
So they say, okay, Gina don't have TV, one is fine. Then we just sit at the balcony, lepak or whatever. But as time go by, it's a little bit difficult. Because when I started to live longer, you're more things what? The longer you live.
Accumulate a bit more stuff. Yeah.
But then the storing system or solution hasn't been there.
Yeah.
So now it's not very open to having people lah. So I used to have an intern working next to me at my house. Now I
this
can.
current house.
Yeah. Now I can't decide whether I can facilitate that or not.
Right.
Because it will not be a comfortable working environment for he or she. Compared to myself, I'm really used to it lah.
Okay.
Yeah. But in general, I think if you're saying open to, let's say public, I think if my house is presentable, as in like got place to sit lah, I don't mind it lor.
Don't mind lah.
I don't mind it as in like, I'm sure the public who come also not the one to come to talk to me lah. They just come and drink coffee and chill what.
True.
Like they won't demand me to be a extrovert.
Yeah lah, but sometimes I think you don't know who is going to walk past. Like just now we just heard one scary story about a person who is a little bit
Correct lah.
violent.
That's why I quite, how to say, admire all these home cafes people. In a way, you open your door to a world of danger also lah.
True.
Because people know where you stay leh. And then you want to do business, right? Let's say you want to do a proper business. You're not a weekend one only. So let's say you do that, right? You need to put your address somewhere, right? Gina's Cafe. And then everybody know where you live because it's a home cafe. There's so much of security involved that I might not be comfortable with.
I suppose, okay lah. So you think, on the other hand, this is Singapore. We're talking about a thing that's happening in Singapore. And
They're more
generally,
safety.
people have a sense of security and safety there, right? You walk in the middle of the night.
True.
They don't have that fear of something happening in their own country. Outside, they are very, very, wary that will happen, but not in their own country. But pros and cons lah. When you are least prepared for it, you can be hit the hardest lah, because not wishing this on anybody, of course. But I do appreciate it because letting people come into your space, your living room, is quite a gift to the people out there. Okay, so for one, you also benefit, depends lah, if you're just busy behind the counter making stuff, then you might not get a chance to engage with the people. But if you do open yourself up to a lot more interaction, a lot more knowledge. Like, I like hearing new things, discovering new things about different people. So that is nice. And then I remember, alamak, balik-balik kena Barrio punya cerita. So back when I was in Barrio, right, chill as if I live there. Every night after the events, we would all hang out in this house.
Okay.
And I remember feeling, although it's not a living room, it was more like a big area, almost like not say balcony, like a attachment to the house. Long tables, and then maybe that's their version of kitchen lah. It's huge lah. And then there's like a pantry. And we're all just sitting there and chit-chatting. But it has that home feel. And I thought, I really, really like this. Compared to after an event, hanging out at the mama or at a club or at a restaurant even. The sense of relaxedness, because it's a house, And auntie was cooking things. You just make your own Milo, coffee, sit there and talk. And don't want to talk, also just sit there and listen to other people. Not watching TV or whatever. But the sense of community and that it's like a fresh breath of air. So I really appreciate that. If people did that for their neighbors, kudos lah. I think I might go. I would go. I might not open my house, but I think I would go and check it out.
Yeah, because it's a totally different community and dining experience.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, right, if I ever have my own home, or if I move to a unit that allows me to have enough space, I would actually host.
Okay.
It's something that I enjoy doing. The fact that I like cooking is one thing lah, but that's just sitting down there and just enjoying the company where you don't have to pay money, Like you don't have to pay for a cafe plus tax or whatever to have certain food. And then after you eat halfway, a lot of people, then they kick you out, or like the music's too loud or the deco is wrong, but I like the drink. So it's like it's in a more controlled environment to just enjoy time with people lah.
Especially in a time where people feel more isolated, more lonely, more alone.
Correct.
And more people living alone in their homes. So yeah, I think that'd be great, man.
So I see so many of them who have started this maybe once a month. They just do for their friends or whatever. They have all enjoyed it a lot. Like the testimonies have been great about how they they would want to do this once a month as a commitment with their friends, or take turns with their friends, or it's okay, don't take turns, just my house all the time is fine. There's so much of that joy coming up from all these things because you can also try recipes. Your friend can kind of say, hey, I use your kitchen to bake something.
Yeah.
And then you bake lah. Then the rest is sit down and chit chat. Or it's a very commune kind of experience.
Nice.
Which I think, whether we can duplicate that or try that out in KL or in Malaysia, whether it's something that's workable lah. So I think my main question was whether we are comfortable opening our space to people. For me, I would, given a chance that there is actually space for people to be in lah, But for yourself lah, you rather be the goer than the
I'd rather
hoster.
be the goer. Things might change maybe in 10 years, I don't know. But right now, gift of hospitality, not really my strength.
So if I open up my space, then I just put a keyboard there, then you can kind of play lah.
Can.
Okay, time to open shop, guys.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by two Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff. Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suwito and Gina Yoong. Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105. Remember to click like and subscribe for a brand new episode next week.